Hi everybody, it's Claire from Handmade at Hudson's, and this is the project we're going to be making today. So this is a super cute card which uses the absolutely stunning but retiring Delicate Baubles Dies, which I've just stuck together on here. And I have used just some plain white card which I have mixed up a bit slightly with this. This is Enchanted Gold Gilding Polish from Cosmic Shimmer. So I wanted to play with some of the things in my stash and I thought this looked gorgeous. So this card is actually cased or copied and selectively edited rather than copied and sharing everything. So I have selectively edited a card by the gorgeous Stacey Marsh. So I'll put Stacey's name in below, and it's actually a Facebook Live that she did earlier this week. I'll see if I can find a link. But this is what has inspired me, and I just love the look of the antique splatter. Nope, Enchanted Gold splatter. And I've also added a bit to my die, and I don't know whether you can see, but it shimmers. And then when you open it up, I have just stamped Merry Christmas. So the dies were originally part of a bundle, but the stamp set, which is here, has now sold out. Am I really bothered? I would say actually that the dies are fabulous by themselves. They don't necessarily need the stamp set. Yes, it is a bonus that you have a stamp that will go inside the outline, but I don't think it's necessarily essential. Then I used the Christmas to Remember for this Merry Christmas, but you can grab any stamp set that you have. There is a very nice Christmas sentiment in Tags and Trimmings, which goes with Merry and Bright. So I have got my dies, I have got my metallic gilding polish, and then we're going to change the colour up slightly. So for this card, I have got a blending brush which I use with Evening Evergreen. I have got a piece of Garden Green. I've got a piece of thick Whisper White, which is about the size of my die, so that I can cut that down. I've got a piece of white card to go on the inside, which I've already stamped with Garden Green and the Merry Christmas, and you may have noticed I actually stamped on the other side in Old Olive, even though I'm not using Old Olive, so I have no idea what I'm doing. And then I have got another brush to be able to add some Garden Green colour, just to make this pop a bit more, because it looks better on a sort of coloured background than it does on white. And the other thing that you'll need, and you'll hear people say this a lot with this bundle, is adhesive sheets. So these are from, the ones I'm using are from Sticks 2. Stampin' Up do sell some adhesive sheets, but it's up to you if you've already got some. Right, okay, so let's start, let's move this out of the way. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add this to my inside, and I'm just grabbing my Collel glue today. I am not sure where my Tombow has gone, or a collection, but any glue will do. So I have just got a piece of card, all the measurements will be linked in below. So the next thing I'm going to do is move this out of the way, and these out of the way. And I'm sorry, I should have said you need a block as well, and a brush. So I've got a dry brush here, and you'll need a spritzer of some sort and a paintbrush as well. So I should have said that earlier, but I'm just being remiss in my role. So I'm just going to bring in a piece of paper, a scrap piece of paper, because when you flick, it goes everywhere. And you also want to make sure that you take this away, because if you don't take it away, you end up with gold all over the back of your card. Ask me how I know. Okay, so I have got my ink blending tool, and I am going to take my ink, and I'm going to load up my tool, take off the excess, and I put my finger in the ink. Let me just get a baby wipe before that goes everywhere. So these are biodegradable baby wipes. So ink up your brush. So this one is actually a Stampin' Up one. I don't always use Stampin' Up ones. I've got a collection and I quite like all of them, to be honest. I've got some from Amazon. The only ones I'm not keen on are Time for Tea, and I've messed that up. See if we can blend that out. I'm now going to have to go darker than I wanted to. So I'm just going round in circles round the outside of my card. And I'm taking off the excess ink. I'm adding it to the card, and I'm just going to add a bit more down here. How does that look? A little more. I think this bit looks quite pale. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piece of card that I have cut down to size for my Merry and Bright, and I am going to take my other blender and my garden green, and I'm actually going to shut this evening evergreen before I cause absolute chaos with this. I'll move this out of the way. So my other blender, and I'm just going to add some garden green, take off the excess. Okay, and then I'm just going to gently just add the slightest bit of colour under here, and I'm just going to blend that out. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to take my gilding polish, take the brush. So I was playing with this before, and I was going to take a little bit from here, and I'm actually going to steal a bit off this and put it on here. So where's my paintbrush gone? So paintbrush is here, and I'm just going to put a little bit on here. I might just spread that out a little bit. So I'm just going to leave that there. I'm going to close this up, otherwise this is going to go everywhere as well. And I am just going to add this to the card. I'm just going to buffer this in circles. And I don't think I'll need all the way to the side, but I'll just buffer this around in circles. And if you have a green sponge, it'll wash off. The ink will wash out. So we've now got a quite pretty piece of card. I don't know whether you can see, but it shimmers. So I'm going to dry that off in a minute. But what I'm also going to do is bring in another piece of paper, because I've now got this all over. So I've got this all over this piece of paper. So what I'm actually going to do is just bring in a different piece. Okay, and then I'm just going to put this to one side, move this out of the way, and I have now got my bit of polish. I'm going to take my Stampin' Spritz or a spritzer or whatever you have, and I'm just going to give it 3 bits of water, and I'm going to take a dry brush. So I'm just using a empty water blender because I'm not sure where my paintbrush is. So I'm just giving it a bit more water, and if you put too much water on it, you can always just dab it off with a cloth or a piece of kitchen paper. I think it might actually need one more. And then I am going to take this and flick. So I now have a flicked background, and I'm going to move this to one side to go with my shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dry off my flicked background and also this piece of paper. So I shall be back in a minute. Okay, so the messy part's over. So I've dried off my background, and then I have also dried off my card itself, and this is what it ends up looking like. So it's sparkle, and then if you just want to check, you can just make sure that it doesn't rub, which it doesn't. And I'm just going to check this doesn't come off. Nope, that's fine. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is add some adhesive to the back of this. So I have got my piece here, and I have no idea what I've done with this. Oh well. It shouldn't affect the cutting at all. And I'm just going to peel a bit off. I'm just going to stick this down. I'm not sure whether you can hear the rain, but it's quite noisy here. And then I'm just going to take my glue scissors, and I am just going to cut up. And it's easier if you just put that sheet back on over the top. And I'm going to put that away in a second. Now this is super useful if you want to keep your dies in shape. So this is a tree that I didn't use from my last card, and what happened is that because I've put an extra layer on the top of the tree, it's not cut all the way through, so when this peels off it should still have all the bits attached. So that's my top tip. Save these for when you want to keep the parts in place. So I'm going to run this through my electronic die cutting machine today, because I'm not sure where my plates are on my mini. So I am just going to sort that out. So I'm putting a I'm putting a metal shim in, purely because it's quite detailed. Now it will run through a Stampin' Up machine quite fine. Just needs to go through a few times because of the backing. Right, I'll be back in a sec. So there we go, that's my die cut, and I'm just going to peel off this back bit that we didn't need. And what I'm actually going to do, and you're going to be surprised by this probably, is I'm going to pop this bit out first, because I haven't actually quite decided whether I'm going to use it or not. And then I'm going to pop the middle part out. So I'm actually going to try and see how many bits will stay in. So, oh, actually, that wasn't too bad. And you'll see there are a few bits. So you just want to get your die brush out if you've got one, or just one of these take your pick tools, or any sort of poker tool. I think I've used some. I've been able to use some nail tools from Home Bargains. And I think we're all done. That wasn't too hard, was it? Right. So you can have a look and you can decide whether actually that looks a lot like soft seafoam, but it does sparkle. So I think I might actually just use the inside. I don't think I'm going to use that outside bit. And then I am just going to take this backing bit off, which is actually not too bad. Now, if you don't have these dies, you could do this with any sort of bauble dies that you have. And you could use this background for lots of different cards. It doesn't have to be a Christmas card. But I think that is super, super cute. Now, I wouldn't be able to tell you whether you could do this with any other gilding polishes. I just played it with this and I quite liked it. So, yep, there we go. So let's bring in my original card. So this one uses Shaded Spruce and Evening Evergreen, and this one uses Garden Green and Evening Evergreen, and I think they're quite pretty. And of course you could do this with lots of different colours. So if I bring in the other colours that I've played with, so from my originals, Shaded Spruce and Flipped Gold, and Garden Green and Flipped Gold as well, I moved on to a classic for me, which is Night of Navy. Oops, it's upside down. With some silver. So I should have said at the beginning that when I bought the Silver Dream, I bought the Gold Treasure, and I bought the Enchanted Gold because I wanted to give them play. So I've been playing with all three of those colours. I actually thought that the gold was copper. Anyhow, so this is Night of Navy with silver and silver splatter. Now, actually, interestingly, on this Night of Navy, I was struggling for what colour to use around the outside. And I actually also used Evening Evergreen on this, and I think it looks quite pretty. So that's one of my options. And then I thought I would do silver again, but I have done it a bit opposite this time. So what I have done is made a mask out of the die and then sponged over the mask rather than putting, ink blended over the mask rather than putting ink blending on the outside. And then I covered this up so that it wasn't so flicky, if that makes any sense. So there's loads of flicks around the outside and very few in the middle because I just added a few. So it wasn't overbearing. But I think that looks rather cute. And then lastly, I did a red card with Joy, and this time I actually used foil, and I used real red, I used the gold, and I've just picked out a foil sheet that I had in my stash. So I think they are really rather cute, and there's my green ones as well. So thank you very much for pressing play on the video today. If you've got any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them. My email is claire@handmade@hudsons.co.uk. All the items that I've used for these cards are below. If you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so that you're notified when I next post. Hope this has inspired you to pull out your items and to create some gorgeous, gorgeous Christmas cards and play with the items that you have. Thank you very much, and I hope to speak to you soon. Bye.